Hello, this is Andrew from Hexacrafter. This is video series part 4, the final video in regards to the assembly of the main airframe assembly of the Hexacrafter 650-800 series. We're going to cover steps 8, 9, and 10 of the assembly manual in this video. The motor and electronics shown in the last video have been removed for clarity here so that it can make it clear on how things go together. But the next step that we would have would be step number 8, and that's mounting the electronics plate to the bottom of the mainframe. So we have the mainframe here that we assembled in our previous videos. And as well as the completed electronics platform. In this case, you would have your ECs all mounted and soldered and all your power takeoffs ready. The wires would be coming up through the mainframe so you could plug them all into the ESCs, and then all the rest of the control wires, the ESCs, would feed through the holes and up to where the controller is going to be above the main plate. So with that said, the electronics plate mounts to the standoffs that we previously mounted. It does that with 8 screws that are 3mm by 6mm. We're going to just mount a couple here so that we can move this video along, because there's other things that I want to show in this video. Like I say, there'll be a total of 8 of them when you really install the final product. I'm just trying to get enough of this together so that we can show you how it will all go together in the final. So I put 2 in, there's 6 more in here, and then basically you can see that the electronics plate and the load rails then would mount to the mainframe right on its bottom. So, and the next step, which is, step 9 of the assembly process, is applying the top plate to the mainframe. Again, all the wires from the ESCs would be here, as well as all the wires going through for the motors. We would take the top plate that we had previously assembled, depending on what configuration of electronics you're using. And at this point, we would remove all the screws from the mainframe, and so that there's none in the arms that we had previously installed. I've already pre-removed all but 3 here. And then at this point, it's just a matter of properly mounting with the correct orientation the top main plate through the arm assemblies. And as I mentioned several times, alignment is a key issue here. So if you're having trouble getting these screws aligning, more than likely you're going to have to, loosen the bottom a little bit to make it work. But ultimately, they go together pretty smooth once you have all this alignment done. So there's quite a few screws in this portion, and I'm not going to mount them all because it would be longer than this video would allow. But basically, you come back and replace all of the arm screws, as well as the 6 additional screws that would go through the standoff. And that is all shown in our assembly manual as page AM6, and it's obviously step 9 of this manual. So I'm going to take the opportunity in the last few minutes of this video to show you some of the electronics platforms available for this frame. And future videos will show even more. But basically, since this one's set up WKM, your WKM would mount here and protrude through the top plate. The standoffs used to mount the next plate, or whether you use that plate or all, is up to the user. But they can be much shorter or much longer depending on what you need for your specific electronics. This is an example of the what comes with the kit. It's a flight electronics plate. You'd mount a receiver on one side and a flight controller on the other. And then a GPS riser and a GPS protection plate. This whole assembly, just goes in standoffs plate, standoffs plate, standoffs plate, until you basically have an electronics platform that's mounted on the frame similar to that. Now it can be rotated 90 degrees so that it's facing side to side or front to back. That's entirely up to the way that your particular electronics need it to be. One of the things I want to point out to you, for you DJI users, whether it be NASA or WKM, the slotted holes that you see that are around the GPS mounting plate, and they're also in the flight control plate, those holes are designed to be spaced for the DJI mask for the compass, and it allows you to rotate the compass for magnetic inclination without dealing with breaking glue joints or unsticking the GPS compass from the mast. It's a nice option to allow adjustment without disassembling the parts. So this would be an example of a whole flight control and electronics platform. You can use all or none of these depending on what you specifically need for your kit, but these are included in the base HC650, HC800 frame assembly. I also want to take this opportunity to show you some other optional plates that we have developed and sell for this unit. If you want to use a top-mounted battery on the top or bottom of your mainframe, this is a side battery mount. It mounts on the top plate in this configuration and goes down through the holes that are already there, and gives you an extended plate to mount a battery on the top right or top left of the frame. They are great for top access of batteries, so you're not having to pick up the model and flip it over to get at the battery packs that would be traditionally rail hung. Even though we do offer those options for some, top mounting the batteries is much easier. And again, if you're using the side mounting battery adapters, then you would mount your electronics tree front and back. If you were to decide you want your batteries on the front and rear of the top frame, we also offer a top mount battery extension plate that mounts here, which is the rear of the airframe or the front of the airframe, to allow the battery to strap down right on the top of the mainframe where it's easily accessible. All of your electronics and all of your battery would be easily where you could get at them on the top plate. So those are a couple of the options and configurations available above the base model and above the main configuration. Please feel free to contact us if you have specific needs or specific questions. But ultimately, it is very flexible in design and has many different battery mounting options that we will cover probably in a later product demonstration. So that pretty much takes you through the assembly of this unit. There is a plastic landing gear that easily snaps into the load rails to provide a landing gear system for our base Hexacrafter. It's a very inexpensive, very durable landing gear, and obviously if it's damaged compared to a carbon fiber one, it's very inexpensive to repair or replace. We are currently developing several carbon fiber landing gear assemblies, short, medium, and tall, based upon what camera or gimbal assembly you would have. We anticipate those will be available in a month or two, probably around January of 2013. So that is our frame assembly. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I hope it helps your airframe go quickly together so that you can enjoy the flying fun of this aircraft. We love its design, and we feel very proud to be offering it to everyone. and that it fits a niche that we weren't able to find when we were trying to find an airframe for our specific needs. So thank you, and hope to hear from you. Thanks. Bye.